Greetings, members one and all of the Salivation Nation. The metal detector find of the year so far, a $278,000 gold coin. Let's explore. A fascinating story indeed. You know how I like these found precious metal treasures, and this story that comes to us from thedailymail.com is no exception. For those of you who aren't familiar with my channel, I do like to cover stories like this, relatively unique in the community, by the way. And if you're interested, I have a whole playlist, and actually some of the videos I've forgotten to add to that playlist, so you might be able to peruse over the over 4,000 videos on the channel and maybe find other stories like this that aren't in that playlist. But I encourage you to check it out if you like stories like this. Fascinating, for sure. Treasure hunter finds penny worth 200,000 pounds. That equates to about $278,000. The metal detectorist is set for a windfall after unearthing Anglo-Saxon gold coin dating back 1,200 years to the time of Wessex King Egbert. Yes, indeed. And we're going to get right into the video, or to the article here. The metal detectorist has unearthed quite a unique 1,200-year-old Anglo-Saxon gold coin, which is now tipped to sell for 200,000 pounds. The gold penny, or mancus of 30 pence, was struck on behalf of King Egbert, king of the West Saxons in the early 9th century. It was dug up by the unnamed finder in a field in the village of West Dean on the Wiltshire-Hampshire border in March of 2020. We're just now hearing about it. A metal detectorist found this gold coin picture, which could have bought 360 loaves of bread, is set to go under the hammer with an estimated value of 200,000 pounds. I guess that's why it's probably considered the find of this year, because I guess getting it valued and figuring out, you know, especially with the coroner and the like over in the United Kingdom, and antiquities, and how to deal with that is another matter, which is maybe why we're not hearing about it until now. The finder, who has been detectoring for 8 years, was searching a 5-acre area of pasture at the bottom of a hill when he got a strong signal on his machine. He dug down 7 inches into the dark sandy soil and scooped out what he first thought was a gold-plated livery button. Upon closer inspection, he was struck by the weight of the coin and realized it was something more important. He showed it to a fellow detectorist who identified it as a coin of international importance, described it as one of the most wonderful finds he had encountered. The 3/4 of an inch diameter coin, which weighs 0.15 ounces, think about that, just over 1/10 of an ounce, bears the king's title, Egbert Rex, around the monogram of the word Saxon. Yes, indeed. Look at that. Egbert, a very nice coin, indeed. They were produced in acts of largesse for ceremonial and high-status payments, with a single gold mancus having the equivalent of value of 30 silver coins. Now, how big the silver coins were, I don't know, but it gives you an idea of perhaps maybe the gold-to-silver ratio at the time. The detectorist is now selling the coin, with London-based auctioneers Dix Noonan Webb, who say it has been analyzed and found to be made of high-purity gold. It is the only late Anglo-Saxon gold coin in private hands, and the other 8 specimens and institutions, predominantly the British Museum. So it makes it all the more rare, and I'm curious why the antiquities and the British government did not confiscate this coin. I think that was part of the law in the United Kingdom. Who knows? Anyways, during Egbert's reign, the coin would have bought this 360 loaves of bread, as we mentioned before. So Peter Preston Morley, head of the coin department at Dix Noonan Webb, said, "This coin probably represents a mancus, a gold denomination that first appeared in central and northern Italy, but was current in England already before the year 800. Mancuses would have been extremely valuable coins. Each had a buying power of 30 contemporary silver coins, and this at a time when a single Carolingian denarius would buy a dozen 2-pound loaves of wheat bread. A single gold mancus would therefore have bought the equivalent of 360 loaves. Now, I'd be very curious to see how big those loaves are and as to how much the 30 silver coins would buy today, or a 10th ounce of gold would buy 360 loaves. I'd be very curious to see how that exchange would occur now. Such high-value coins would have been made in the normal course of minting. They probably stemmed, or would not have been made actually in the normal course of minting. They probably stemmed from an act of royal high-status largesse. One 10th century English kings will specifically ask for 2,000 mancuses of gold, which could also be used to measure gold by weight, be taken and minted into mancuses. Unfortunately, the volume of charters and other records from Egbert's reign is very small, so no obvious occasion for the minting of this coin can be identified, nor is it possible to date the coin to a more specific period within Egbert's reign. The lettering and monogram are executed more neatly than on the dies of contemporary pennies. Egbert was the son of Edelmund, king of Kent, who was forced into exile by Offa, king of Mercia, and Bertic, king of Wessex. Following Bertic's death in 802, Egbert claimed the kingdom of Wessex and fought battles against the kingdom of Mercia. He temporarily ruled over Mercia from 829 after driving their king Wiglaf into exile, giving him brief control over the London Mint. Egbert, who died in 839, was a grandfather of Alfred the Great. Yes, indeed, and you may remember the series Vikings on the History Channel, where the Vikings, I think they invaded, which was kind of the first invasion of the Vikings at the time, and I believe it was in the late 700s, I believe, when the first Vikings came ashore there. So anyways, this coin will go on sale or auction on the 7th of September. A little background on Egbert, son of Edelmund, king of Kent, was driven into exile in 789 by the West Saxon king Boteric and King Offa of Mercia. When Boteric died in 802, Egbert returned from the continent and took over his throne. He removed Wessex from the Mercian Confederation to create his own independent state. In 825, he defeated Bernwulf, king of Mercia, in the Battle of Elendune, making Wessex the strongest kingdom in England. 4 years later, he seized Mercia, but was defeated in 830 by Wiglaf. His final battle, a year before his death in 839, was a victory over a combined force of Danish and Cornish Briton invaders at Hingston's Down. Interesting, indeed. Of course, that's kind of before they, I guess that was after the other invasions that had occurred earlier. But nonetheless, a fascinating story, a tale here of a very attractive coin. Imagine having that in your collection. But think about it, it's gold. So you have a 1/10 of an ounce gold eagle, or maybe a 1/4 ounce gold coin, and you've got gold and the same material that has been used for thousands of years. And as you can see from this coin here, it was highly treasured. Well, there you have it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. I would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for taking the time to watch, and to encourage you, yes, strongly encourage you to please rate this video, share it with all of your friends, families, and strangers alike, comment, and subscribe.